Yeah, you go tell me
You
what
are
difference.
live.
Oh my gosh.
We apologize for anybody trying to tune in earlier. We were trying to take care of some business real quick. So anyhow, we are now ready to proceed with the normal meeting. So we have everyone in attendance, so we do have a quorum. Who would like to call the meeting to order?
I do.
All right. Susan, second?
Yeah.
Okay. And all in favor? All righty. Let's go ahead, and I passed out last month's minutes to everyone in their packet. Should be the second thing. If y'all want to take just a second to peruse those, and then we can get a motion to approve those, that would be great.
I'll make the motion.
I don't have them.
That should be your second one right here. Yeah.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's live, Keith.
What's that? No. We're live on YouTube right now on a private channel.
Oh,
All right, and then it'll be transferred.
You misspelled Keith's name.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh.
okay.
Oh no. Okay.
It's a typo. I'll second the motion.
It's something that we wanted to try to see if we can keep some other people from broadcasting them in some place.
It's a 19th hole.
Oh.
Second one.
Yeah.
That's a new way to spell.
Yeah.
So there is no town hall tonight. Town
No.
hall is
No.
Next month.
Right. Well, yeah, I think. Whatever's on
Yeah,
our
September,
calendar.
December, and March.
Any motion to accept or
They
even
did.
need more time?
I made a
Second
motion.
motion, I second it.
Oh, Paul made it, okay.
Yes,
And all in favor?
yes. Good job, Jackie.
All right, let's go on to Patsy and financials, please.
Okay, so we'll go over the financial summary pages, department by department, starting with admin. Some things to point out, dues were back at a more average amount, a monthly amount of $164,000. The last couple of months were a little higher because there were some annual billers in those amounts. Building permits, we had $5,000 worth of building permits. Miscellaneous income was a little bit higher because we had $1,800 where we sold the 08 F550 that was no good anymore. We sold that to Masterson's for parts.
Scrap.
Expenses, one thing that stood out for me on expenses and admin was the bank charges were higher. That's where we put the closing costs for the lift station loan. That was $1,343. Overall, our year-to-date income is $24,000 higher than budget. Payroll is $57,000 lower than budget. Operating expenses are $19,000 higher than budget. And the net income for admin is $62,000 higher than budget. On to the lake. Of course, the income is the monthly income we get from Monument Chemical. The one small expense there is flag markers that were used on the dam. Year-to-date on the lake, we're $44,000 better than budget. Real estate, that amount of income is the monthly payment that the one person was making on a lot that we sold on contract. We didn't budget any income in year for real estate this
Thank
last year, so year to date is $29,900 better than budget. Security, September expenses were a little bit higher than normal. When I looked at that, when they purchased some uniforms, they had some repair maintenance on their vehicle, and then fuel was purchased in September. But overall, year-to-date, security is $17,000 lower than what we budgeted to be. Maintenance, they as well, their operating expenses were a little higher. In September, there was a $2,400 rental equipment. In September, repair maintenance on the equipment. Small tools was a little higher. They purchased a laptop and then a pole saw pruner is in small tools. There's almost $3,200 in trees and flowers that, and when I went back and looked to see what it was, that actually should have been in the lake department because that was repair and maintenance on the dam. So I'll have that transferred over in October's financials.
Which part, 3,100?
$3,180.
What did we do?
We had
Brody
out there to do some more.
Brody came out, remember that,
Did
that
some more
area on the
clearing.
corner of the dam that we
Yeah.
didn't get initially?
Are they gonna finish the rest of it or not? The rest of those trees where you have your fireworks go up need to be cut down.
They do not need to be cut down. They're along the wall and it's not required by the state.
No, it's not required by the state, but to be able, it just needs to be cleaned up, so that's just my preference.
Okay.
And I've had other people say that to me.
Okay, so overall for maintenance, their payroll is $46,000 lower than budget. Operating expenses are $43,000 lower than budget for a total overall $89,000 lower than where they were budgeted to be at this point. Roads had a high income in September. Not only did we have, the regular road fees that we transfer over, but we had $19,000 worth of road building permit fees that went in.
And how much are those a bill per bill? Depends.
For new construction, it's
I
$3,000.
thought that's just
Yeah.
the three.
It depends on the type of construction that's
Okay.
being done. Some of it's 5, some of it's 1,000, and the primary building is 3,000. But for sheds and stuff like that, it's a $1,000 charge that they're given.
They build a shed?
If they have the equipment brought in to build it with,
Driving that.
bring it later.
We're
Pickup
talking,
truck to bring in for a shed.
we're even talking the Amish sheds too. It's $500 or $1,000, I don't know.
I'm not sure. 1,000 seems very high. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if that's-
Probably $500. I
And
know we
that's
have,
non-refundable, correct?
that's not
Correct.
refundable, no, that's the one-time payment they give us.
The only thing that's refundable on permits is a cleanup fee.
Yeah, the only one we won't receive that from is for the building of the lift stations.
Right, well, building a house, I can understand. I guess this board establishes those fees, correct?
Correct, it was established in 2022, January 2022.
Well, the architecture committee made the recommendations and then the board
Yeah, board voted
approves
on
or
it.
not. Yes.
But we made a recommendation to charge, Paul's gonna put a shed on the back of his house or in his yard.
I'm charging him $3,000.
I knew where that was going, Joe. That's why I kept my mouth shut.
12 threes.
The prices for the sheds and pools and stuff like that didn't go up. It was primarily for the prices of houses.
I don't think
Houses went up.
a shed's not $1,000. I want to say it's more like $250.
So it
I
didn't
think it's
increase.
I can let you know for sure tomorrow.
But if I build Paul a deck, are we still talking, I gotta get a permit and pay
Yes.
Yes.
$50 or something like that?
You have to
Yes.
get a permit for,
I'm giving quotes for a deck right now if you want to come over and give one.
Uh-huh.
I'm serious.
I'm up for her.
I know, I just didn't,
Yeah.
that's not a justified thing.
Well, it's already passed, Joe, so if you want to try to get it
We
changed.
can
we need
rechange
to
it
talk
later
about
on.
We'll talk about it another
Yeah.
time. I just, that's ridiculous.
Next,
also on roads, so the year-to-date income is $28,500 higher than we budgeted to be. expenses are $6,000 lower than we budgeted to be, with a net income of $34,000 higher than what we budgeted to be at this point. Water, income was higher on water as well because of building permit fees, water connect fees. Payroll was average for having 5 people now instead of 4. Operating expenses were higher. Last month we talked about August raw water was 40,000, September's was 45,000. But I did look, and October's was back down to 30, so that's more in the normal range.
Just one second. The actual fees are shed gazebo is $100 for road damage.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sheds and gazebos are $100. Driveways are $500. Major reconstruction is $500. But for housing, it's $3,000. That's within the current.
If you tear your driveway out and have a new one poured, it's $500.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no. I know I don't know where I missed that.
There's
the,
someone that was already-
I know, I was
Well,
thinking new
put 2,000.
new
Yeah,
construction.
New construction, the one that they do have in here that was debated was
But that's
the
not new
major
construction.
reconstruction. Originally it was.
I know, but so you're gonna charge me $500 if I jackhammer my driveway out?
Well, it's because the cement trucks
That's-
coming in and dumping all the cement in your driveway is gonna tear up our roads.
Well, yeah, but that's much more
Again, let's-
justifiable.
This is something that was voted on before. I think this is a discussion.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk about
that's
this at our
fine,
next
that's
planning
fine.
meeting. I mean, I'll make a note that we'll talk
put it
about
in-
it.
Please do,
Because it's no different
Jackie.
than doing a new house and you put a
Well, I
driveway in.
understand, but you can also split loads in concrete trucks and put 4 yards in instead of 8 yards, and then it doesn't damage the road.
We already limited 6, it doesn't take us.
Yeah,
Okay.
so anyway, discussion for another time.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Patsy, sorry.
Okay, we still had a net income of $1,600 for the month of September in water. Year-to-date income is $83,000 higher than budget. Payroll is $9,800 lower than budget. Operating expenses were $98,000 higher than budget, leaving us a net income of $5,500 lower than where we budgeted to be at this point.
was payroll 98,000 or 9,800?
Payroll was 9,800 lower.
Okay. Good. Oh, I see the
Yeah.
two, never mind,
Yeah.
sorry.
But operating expenses were 98,000 higher, and that, I'd say that's mostly due to the increased price of the raw water after we had done the budget
Okay, and
last year.
I know that also payroll, it's actually lower than budget, because I was gonna say that shouldn't be throwing us off, because we had been planning on hiring someone. So,
Right.
so it is the raw water, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And then you said we had a big leak too, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The August and September water bills, I thought, August water bill, when I saw it, I thought that's the highest one I've ever seen. Then we got September's water bill, and it was like wrong direction. But it is back down to around 30,000 for October, so, which was September's usage. Okay, on to sewer. Sewer, the income was higher due to building permit fees for sewer connect fees of $6,000. Again, payroll was average for five people on payroll now. Operating expenses had some things that stuck out. Is we purchased $3,000 worth of chemicals for use at the sewer plant, and we had $12,000 worth of repair and maintenance between the sewer lines and the pump station. So that was a little higher expense month as far as those things go. Overall, our income is $11,000 higher than budget. Payroll is $8,200 lower than budgeted. Operating expenses are $96,000 lower than we budgeted, leaving a net loss that is $116,000 less than what we budgeted to be at this point in the year.
For sewer, water. right,
Sewer,
right.
just sewer, just sewer. The marina, the income was up a little bit in marina for September. Cost of goods sold and payroll were a little bit lower. Operating expenses were average. Our net income in September was right at $2,500. Overall, we are $7,100 better than what we budgeted to be at this point.
I'd just like to touch on that real quick. After our last conversation we had last Monday, I went back and I took a look at it. We do have, one thing we didn't take a look at when we were looking at this budget here is what we actually have in inventory. And I was given that this morning. We got about $1,300 still in inventory and parts and stuff. And the fuel is the one that we're looking at right now. I have talked to Ted about the next step for next year and how we're going to go about doing this for inventory and maintaining it controlled a little bit better. And also to start running the fuel in line with what it's actually costing us.
And didn't you say we have maybe 300 or 600 gallons?
We have about 600 gallons of fuel inside the tank right now, which offsets the amount between the expenses and what we've actually made back on it. And we have about $1,300 in inventory inside the store still.
And for winter, is it like a boat where you have to winterize that to keep it from going bad?
No, the fuel inside the tank doesn't.
It doesn't condensate
No,
like a,
there's
There's
it's
a
not,
vent on the
there's
tank.
no ethanol inside of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sweat and we don't have to worry about it breaking down.
okay. All right,
This
just
is
wanna make
ethanol free fuel, which is why it costs so much.
sure. Okay, so it won't go bad over the winter?
No, it won't.
Well, we put
I just want to, just
stabilizer
keep
in her
looking
box,
at that. Like I
put
said,
ethanol in
it
her
was
tank.
25,000. If you take the labor and cost of goods minus sales, it's basically a $25,000 loss. Just
Now,
as we're,
I understand what you're saying there, Susan, but the labor cost has been there for a very long time. We just brought the cost of goods and everything into it. So that's an adjustment we're gonna have to make over the next.
right, I'm just saying, as we look,
Don't have to.
if we want to try to do new docks and we're looking at
Oh, I'm
that,
well aware, yes.
then we need to make sure that this is as low as it can be, the loss
Yes, ma'am.
for,
Yes, ma'am.
for operating it.
As Ted and I have already talked about that, as to what the costs were for this year and our pricing for next year.
Shellen, with the figure that Susan mentioned, 24,000, I believe we'll need to have a split out because I think that we would have people on staff, whether there's any store or
Yes, yes.
fuel or any,
Yeah.
well, they might be there for fuel.
Yeah, that's
But that was always built in for the overall docks to offset.
correct.
Okay, so, but we still want to be as tight as possible because there's a big difference between charging $100 for slips and bringing money in, which that's where we would have been at the last board, and $150 and barely covering the cost of the new one without
Yes.
anything extra.
Yeah.
So we got to be as tight as possible.
So why do people put stabilization in their boats if they're getting gas from the tank? that
They should-
doesn't
Well,
have-
but the stabilizers for their boat and their tank over the winter.
Because
so-
there's no aeration in it?
Correct,
Okay,
yeah.
that answers.
Yep.
it.
That's, I
Thank
mean,
you.
that's, the stabilizers do a couple things for you. One, I'm just gonna throw one particular brand out there, Seafoam. Actually, when you run it at the end of the next year, it actually cleans out your carburetor, cleans out your, yeah, that's one of the reasons you want to do it. But when you're using actual marine fuel, stabilizers are not a necessity. It's something you can do for feel good, and also it does good for cleaning out your carburetor or not your carburetor, but fuel injection system. But as for necessary, because there's no ethanol in this, we don't have to worry about separating. We don't have to worry about a water sheen and then fuel underneath it,
Okay.
which is what the stabilizer does to keep those two together.
Thank you.
It's just different.
But as for
storage
cleaning the system out and helping it run better, yeah, by all means.
Okay.
Go ahead, Patsy.
Okay, on to the campground. Campground was good income for September, $3,200 in income in September. Our year-to-date income is $2,700 more than what we budgeted to be at this point. Expenses are $1,600 less than what we budgeted to be at this point, giving us a net income of $4,300 more than what we budgeted to be.
Before we move on, I wanted to mention the campgrounds. I know there had been a little bit of discussion, and I think some people were surprised, which I don't understand, that it was closing for the season. Is it because Newport has kept us open for the last couple of year rounds,
No,
or
no.
just people?
Last year was my first year. I don't know why there was someone inside the campground. The campground has been listed as 1 November to 1 April closed. Last year, I didn't catch it until the person had been in there, and by that time, I allowed them to stay in. it costs us a lot of money in damaged hoses, damaged lines, and I'm not taking that chance again this year.
Sure.
So I'm following what has been on our website now for years, 1 November to 1
I just
April.
wanted to ask because I was not aware either way.
No, it's been posted on our website for a long time. And the question I got last year in February by one of the maintenance guys is, why is it still open? And I was like, okay, I didn't know we closed it.
Yeah, okay.
Now I do, and after the cost of last year, no, we closed it. It has made 2 people upset, but I'm willing to take that because
Well, if that's the standing
last year.
policy, it's the standing
Yeah.
policy. We just need
It's
to.
it's our published policy. It's the standing policy until last year, and I'm bringing it back to
And
what it
then
was.
second thing, I just wanted to compliment whomever does the work and did the work over to the campgrounds. I had never been there until recently, and it's really nice. It's very good shape. So, just wanted to compliment the campground. So,
No.
Okay, on to the swim tennis club. Our income was better in September than August. It was 25,500. Cost of goods sold was higher. And the reason being for that is we had some invoices from previous months that had not been turned in a timely manner. We were working to get those in.
Is that why the bar cost was so high? Okay.
Yes, yes. So we had some discussions and that's coming in a much better timely manner. Payroll was average for the month. Overall net loss was $31,000 higher than budgeted. I did, someone asked that we break out the building expenses separate, just so you can see just how much it costs to operate versus the whole thing.
and is
Bottom
that
line.
reflected on?
It's on that
It is,
Excel
it's
sheet.
in the, yeah,
Right here.
it's, you'll see like operating net income, that's what it costs to like have the club open. And then building expenses, broke out, what we kind of felt were gonna be expenses that we'll have regardless. Now, I do understand like electricity is gonna be higher when it's operating. I haven't broke that down because that's kind of an unknown on what it would drop down to.
Right.
But we tried to, as best we could, break out how it would be, expenses that we'd have regardless of the club
Any type
opening
of
up or not.
operations?
Let's see. On to recreations, the little bit of income we had in September, those were pool guest fees. The expenses were higher in September. Those were due to the last half of the fireworks cost. They billed us back in early spring, 50% down. Then we had, once the show went off, we had to pay that. That was $7,200. So it put us overall over $24,000. There had been a question on recreations too, on repair and maintenance for the beaches. There was an expense of $1,050, and that was for the 3 sediment bags that.
It was the one.
3 sediment bags are bags that we're able to load sand up into so we can move them around. It's pipe it out from the bottom of the lake, so we're not paying a whole bunch of money for a dump truck.
Okay. On to the snack bar. It was only open for a few days in September to close out the season. Overall, the snack bar had a net loss of $300 less than what we budgeted to be. So it was pretty on target, bottom line, with what we budgeted to be. Day camp or after school fair, I should say at this point, was a typical month. They had a net income of $945, and they are right on budget overall with where we projected them to be. The golf course had a higher income in September. The biggest thing driving that is that there is still food, very limited food sales and beer sales going on, and it's all going through the pro shop now versus breaking out for the 19th hole. Payroll was a little bit lower, operating expenses were lower, There was a fire expense of $2,900. I believe that was for the trailer rental. Gave us a net loss for the month of $828. But our overall net loss is $57,000 more than what we budgeted to be at this point. And then the 19th hole, obviously there was no income there. The payroll expenses were carried, and then the other expenses are utility usage from August, and then one small fire-related expense of about $371. Most of that was having the freezer full of spoiled meat removed. Net loss, year-to-date net loss is $56,000 more than budgeted to be. So overall bottom line, our income is lower than we budgeted to be by $68,000, but our cost of goods sold is lower by $27,000 than we were budgeted to be. Payroll is lower than we budgeted to be by $181,000. Operating expenses are lower than what we budgeted to be by $90,000. So that gives us a net income of $231,000 higher than what we projected to be at this point.
Okay, so I just want to go back to a couple of things. So first off, on golf in the 19th hole. So I realize that these are all projections anyhow, and we could have ended up worse than budget without the fire. However, I would hope that between the two, we would not be $113,000 worse than budget at this point in the year had we not had the fire. So I think that the fire is obviously, hitting us a lot harder than we even could have possibly imagined. So, again, $113,000 worse than budget, that's significant. Significant.
All right, any more questions for Betsy?
One other question. On the S&T, on here you have an overall net loss of $31,000. But when I was looking at the financials, it says, I'm looking for that number here somewhere, and I'm not seeing it. So you've got a new format going, so it's just kind of, I'm thrown off a little bit.
Here's where we are, and this is where she.
I said our net loss is $31,000 higher than what we budgeted to be.
Right.
We budgeted to be $89,000, and we're at $120,000 net loss.
Thank you, Patsy.
I got you.
All right, Patsy, thank you very
Thank
much.
you very
Is there nothing
much.
else?
Thank you, Patsy.
You're welcome.
All right, guess it's GM report time.
Oh, we need to
Wait a minute.
vote on
Oh,
the
That's right,
budget.
yeah.
I make a motion to accept the financials.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
All right, month of September for Doe Valley was pretty quiet. No reported deaths during the month of September, no change in October. Accidents, we did have one vehicle that ran to the,
We don't have his report.
no, I don't have it here. That's something I gave you guys last week.
You got it?
You
Let's see if we can get this up here so you guys can see it.
Okay.
Did we get it last week? I don't remember.
I
getting
don't
it.
remember
I
seeing
don't
it.
remember seeing it. Can you send it back out to
I'll
us?
send it back out to you.
Thank you.
All right, how do I get it here?
Because I've got all the other stuff.
I like to keep that with the sewer and water numbers.
I know.
I just, my-
Keep up with them, they said.
Well, and I actually like to put it in the minutes and stuff.
Okay, I can't bring it up on the screen here.
That's okay.
All right, accidents, we had one vehicle that ran into the Marina Gate, took the gate off of the railing, to get that back on. And then we also had personnel with cameras on, with a Canon camera with masks near the Marina Pavilion, trying to steal stuff, but the alarms went off, so it scared them away.
Was
We
that
had-
those two separate incidences?
Those are two separate instances.
So the
yes.
marina car, the car hitting it was an
It
accident?
was an accident, yeah. Criminal mischief, we had one report.
Sorry, before you move on, you're aware of the back gates, that it's been hit somewhere somehow? I mean, that'd be on this
Yes,
month,
maintenance, yeah.
but, okay.
Yeah, it looks
all
like somebody kept trying coming in the wrong direction.
right.
I hope that it's tires.
Oh,
Criminal mischief, we only had one report of criminal mischief, and this is questionable. They said there was a vehicle that was seen in a vacant lot or a vacant house at night. Other than that, no reports. Animal complaints are down. We only had 2 complaints about dogs, although we did have 1 complaint of 5 cows that were wandering around the Dove Valley. I'll see why it was a complaint. That was just a beef. Gate violations, we only had 2. They're getting a lot better with those. Only had 2 people allow someone in or hold the gate open for someone else. So it's actually pretty good. No domestics, no noise complaints. 1 welfare check, which turned out to be okay. Elderly person that fell down, couldn't get up. Our guys went out there and helped him. And they were fine by the time they were done. Well, I had 1 report of someone speeding on the parkway. Thank you very much. And gate malfunctions, we're at 622 for gate malfunctions. But now they've moved from gate number 2 up to the main gate, which is nice because the guys are right there and they can work on them when it happens. Let's see, moving down to utility, our departments. Utilities, working with 6 people right now, Jonathan and 5 others. Last month, September, 3 water line repairs. The daily usage was over 211,000, which is 11,000 over our daily usage agreement. And the overall water usage was a total of 6,357,000 gallons. As Patsy told you, it's more than we've seen in a long time. Our sewer department, we had 4 sewer repairs. Daily intake was normal, along with our monthly average of 2.5 million gallons.
Was the
We had
sewer repair out on the, out away from the plant, or was it?
they're within, sewer repairs are usually at 3, 4, 5, lift stations 3, 4, 5, the ones we have. And that's good news, we'll get to that in a bit. Matter of fact, this month we actually had number 3, then number 4, and then number 5 go down in daisy chain. Whatever got caught in one of them just kept on pushing its way down, which resulted in 4 blockages and 4 outflows. Outflows were all reported to the EPA, and our guys were on top of them real quick. So luckily, we had the assistance we needed real fast to get them taken care of. Refurbishing of the pump stations. Pump stations are scheduled to be started here in the next couple weeks. November 6th was the tentative date I was given for them to actually be on ground here. We just sent our first check out to them for $123,000, or $128,000 for materials and equipment for them to get started on
Did you
putting
say
them together.
November 6th or December 6th?
November
November
6th.
6th.
We're looking at the next couple of weeks, them starting the project. I still need to get with Elton to verify that, but it looks like we're right on track for them to get started, which was right inside the timeline. They said they would be started, they'd have everything online. So that's very,
Remind
very.
me again, well, how long did they say once they start?
Once they start, they've got 6 months. 6 months. They're saying it's going to take them about 26 weeks, 6 months. But he wants to have it done in under 20 weeks.
Do they have weather depending?
Yes,
in the
yes. They have 6 months to get the job done. If there's some kind of a major reason to put them off, they have to let us know and put a request in for an extension in time. Anything after that, it's $500 a day.
Okay.
And you're still having like monthly meetings with them?
I talk to Jay Hoffman on a monthly basis, and
Jay Hoffman?
Jay Hoffman is the one that, not Jay Hoffman.
Elton,
I
you-
was thinking,
Wow, he's around.
He does sewer and water.
I talk to Phil Metter about once a month. He's with Ken Byron's, the engineering company that's overseeing the project. And between him, he's our go-between for Elton, and the 3 of us talk together.
So they are still under contract.
Oh, yeah, they're still under
They
contract.
have to be,
Close down with, yeah. Let's see what else. ARPA funding still ongoing as part of the projects. Community activities, or the Doe Valley Advisory Committee had a great job this weekend with the chili cook-off and the trunk or treat. They're also getting lots of projects going. They're actually moving up in October alone, they had the dog days this summer and then the trunk or treat. I think they're planning on doing a turkey trot. They're working that for us around Thanksgiving this year. So they're doing a real good job on trying to get the community activity going.
That
It's
turkey
much
trot
appreciated.
would be on the golf course and that's when it's closed, correct?
Right now, the golf course will be closed Thanksgiving, and they'll be doing it Thanksgiving morning. That is the current plan.
And Justin he's been brought in the loop on this. Is that correct?
Justin's the one that recommended they do it on the golf course Thursday, on Thanksgiving morning, because the golf course will be closed.
Perfect.
Yes, he's definitely in the loop on this. Play count is still up from last year. It's starting to dwindle off due to the nature of the year, time of year, when it's getting colder out. But play is still good. It's still better than we had it last year. But yeah, as you said earlier, that 1 week that we were shut down hurts bad. It did. I think the 19th hole being shut down also is further hurting us, where people aren't able to get food as they do the turn.
And where are we at on as far as the greens are concerned and the watering and maintenance and everything on that?
I'll tell you right now, I was out there this weekend and they look great. They look great. The greens were absolutely amazing. Brown spots they had before were filled in with grass. Now the actual fairways themselves, it's going to take until February when we get a pre-emergent down there to kill off the crabgrass that did come in. But it looks as though the blue Buda is coming in right now. So hopefully that'll recover nicely. But the pre-emergent is already here. So February, when they're supposed to be putting it down, it'll already be on site for them to put down at the proper time and not 2 months late.
And I know there's also a couple of leaks, I believe, that are out there on the irrigation systems. What's the plan on monitoring that stuff or whatever?
Leaks in the irrigation system is coming from the lake, so it's not a cost for us.
Right, but I mean,
They are
does-
monitoring it and taking care of it. It's just
Does it
getting the
hurt
equipment to.
anything?
What's that?
Does it hurt anything?
Maybe it's a little overwatering in areas, but it doesn't hurt us. No, it just needs to get fixed. That's about it. It's a matter of when they can get out there to do it.
Okay.
All right, that's all I've got.
All right. Can I get a motion to accept Keith's general manager report and that he's going to email us that out as well?
Second it.
All in favor? Ada?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we have to
Yeah, me
vote on
too.
that one.
Alrighty, so under pressing business, most important thing we're gonna do today, in my opinion, is talk about and pass the 2024 budget. I wanna first off thank the board and our GM for working on this in such a collaborative spirit and such great interactions. Been very, very pleased with that, and it's truly been an interactive process, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So, Keith, why don't you take it away, and then we'll go from there.
The slides that we'll be going over today will be posted on the DillValley.org website for people to review. Most noticeable is that we have taken the actual budget and split it up into two separate budgets. One for most of our amenities, and then a separate one just for utilities and water and sewer. Is a key reason for this, which we'll be going over in a couple of minutes. The third page of the budget will go over the things we have planned for our capital savings purchases and how we plan on spending the extra money we have left over after all of our bills have been paid. Some of the highlights we got is, one, we're not going to do a dues increase. We did enough with the water last year and a huge increase last year also. Plus the changes in the costs for water this year will be enough of an increase for some families. We don't need to hit them twice. We are taking the road fund and doubling it, or almost doubling it, from $8.50 to about $16 per due cycle to get us more money in the roads so we can repair more roads. We have $169,000 earmarked for water and sewer line replacements. We have $168,000 that'll be going to our employees for pay raises. We're getting new gate software, which will update the way our gates are operated. And we'll have 3 gates, the Swim and Tennis Club, gate number 2, a marina, where residents will be able to, or people will be able to drive up to and call into the resident themselves, and the resident will be able to buzz it in. This is something we're working on and hope to have it in place by March to April of next year. We're also going to allow public access to the club, to open the club up to the public, and putting another gate in just east of the swim and tennis club, the beach, people on the beach cove, to keep the other personnel out that aren't residents. We'll be updating our CBSW software, allowing for a payment portal for people to go online and actually make their payments, so they don't have to come into the office all the time to pay their utility bills. It'll be easier on the residents. And I think it's going to be a great move forward. We're modernizing a lot of our equipment inside of a lot of our trucks and other equipment in order to reduce maintenance costs and also to increase productivity within the sections. We have here a slide to be able to see where actually all of your costs are going. Administration is about 24% of your dues. Security is 17%. Maintenance is 20%. Roads are about 9%. Swim and tennis club is about 5%. Recreation is 4%. Golf course is 4%. And 19th hole is 1%. We have 19th hole as 1% because we anticipate the 19th hole will be back up and operational sometime around September of next year. So we did put a small budget in there for them. Hopefully we'll be up and hopefully we'll be operating off that budget at that time. Administration, key things, new software that's going to integrate automation to the Del Valley Association website. It's getting rid of our 1990s bookkeeping software and different techniques we've been using. It's going to introduce online payment portal for utilities, as I stated before. It's going to modernize our mass notification system. Everyone knows how bad it is now. The CBSW has a mass notification that we're going to be able to send out via text messages to phones. And it's also going to provide us with the opportunity where our current mailer that we do on a monthly basis, our letter, our newspaper, you can choose to get that electronically or still have it mailed to you. So it's an additional cost savings for us for everyone that takes it electronically. You'll be able to get your bills one of 3 ways, either mailed, emailed, or you can review your bill online, cutting down paper costs for saving money in the long run. We will be increasing storage loft spaces for both by the office and on the upper deck of the campground to $35 a month. We'll also be keeping it where you pay a year in advance. We're only going to charge you for 10 of those months. As I said earlier, the road trust fund is going to be almost doubling up to $16 a month. This is going to enable us to get additional roads paved each year, plus striping, along with purchasing of road maintenance equipment for our trucks, such as the new plow for our new dump truck. Security, we're getting the updated security software and equipment. This is going to come with new RFID readers for all the different gates we have. So we'll start having all the problems with it reading. The one down at gate number 2 will also be moved to the other side of the street where it's uniform with all the other RFID readers to keep us from having problems at gate 2. The gates themselves, we're receiving that the gates are in great condition. It's just the RFID readers and the methods of getting it back and forth. Hopefully when we get these in, we'll fix all the problems.
Will we be able to do some updates on electronic, or not electronics, but electricity at that time as well? As
Yes.
Keith, gate 2, refresh, is it the back gate here?
Gate 2 is the back gate. That's the one off of 933. As I said before, so give residents a chance to, the kiosks will be going in at 3 different locations. We'll give the residents an opportunity to have them call in and say, hey, I'm here, and the residents can push a button and open the gate for them to allow them in so they don't have to go through security. The benefit of going through the security front gate, though, is that once the driver's license, if they come in, their driver's license is scanned. After that, they can go to any gate that they've got authorization to come in through. There'll be a driver's license scanner at that gate. They can put the driver's license in, and the gate will allow them to come in going to that residence, wherever they've got visitor rights. Or a resident can send out a QR code to a person, which they can put their phone on, bring that up, and they'll read the QR code and allow them in.
Do you know if that system will allow for this gate here at the S&T to automatically open at 5:30 and then they call security when the club closes and
That's
everybody's
a
out.
really good question.
That's a good point,
I don't know
Susan.
that off the top of my head. I don't know. With the electronics that's going into this, I would say I don't see why not, but I don't know. I don't know.
If that gate's gonna go away here.
No,
spring,
No,
right?
no. It's got to stay
It's
for
gotta
the
stay for the
pool and
daycare.
daycare
So we're
and the
just adding
beach.
another one,
We're just adding a second one.
adding a second one to protect.
This
each
one
other.
would be open when the club is
Open
open
to the
for guests,
public.
and
Or
that's
we're
all
having
the
the
time.
And
farmer's
then
market.
beyond the club here, there will be another gate,
Yeah.
so people
Yeah.
are stopped, correct, and cannot penetrate the neighborhood.
Infiltrate.
The perimeter, penetrate the perimeter.
That's where Jill understands. He's all darn. All right, the next thing is sewer and water charges. Sewer and water charges will be changing for next year. We'll be removing sewer and water from the general budget, and we're creating its own budget. This way here, we don't lose any income that comes from those two locations, and it gets dumped into a different area of Bill Valley. This here is going to make sure that the money that comes in for sewer and water stays with sewer and water for the betterment of Bill Valley in the long run. We'll be increasing prices of water over 2,000 gallons. It'll be going from $9.90 to $11.20 to match. Last year, a lot of people don't understand this, but after we received our initial increase from Hardin County, we received a second increase from Meade County, and that increase was never added into the budget. So we've been taking a loss on that all year long of about $1.24. This year, Meade County is doing another 6-cent increase. So we just combined the two of them for an increase of $1.30 for the $11.20 increase. Sewage will be done at 70% of the water usage, so the cost will also be at 70%. Everything after 2,000 gallons will be $7.86 per 1,000 gallons of sewage used.
And that 70% is basically a formula to offset the fact that not every single gallon of water you get gets flushed down the sewer.
Correct. And caveat to that, it's not in the slides, is that if you fill a pool up or you have a major water thing done, that notify the main office, and we will adjust the bill accordingly to account for the extra water you used for filling up the pool so that you don't get billed that for sewage.
But you still gotta pay for water.
Still got to pay for
Okay, so
water.
that people are.
All right, campground, we're gonna be adjusting the cost of campgrounds. RV with no sewer will be moving from $20 to $25. It's pretty much a $5 increase per site. RV with sewer will be going to $35 a day, and our tent rate will be going from $10 to $15 a night. Recreations, we had the fireworks this year in September, Labor Day. And the question right now is, should we continue to have it in June on the 29th? Or move it to Saturday, July 6th, or bring it to Saturday, the Saturday before Labor Day?
I did post that on the residence page.
Yeah, we're gonna
today,
post it
the
on the
poll.
residence
No,
page.
she's got a
Yeah.
poll on the residence corner
Okay.
already.
And I just couldn't post it on Doe Valley's page because they want you to run it as an ad and pay for it.
Oh, for ours?
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
So anyway.
Can we take
Take it
that,
straight to the
can we
people.
take a link to that and put it on the dillvalley.org website?
I can try it, yeah, sure.
19th hole, we're gonna rebuild the 19th hole. We have selected Prodigy as a contractor, and they're gonna take us from the start to the end. We have formed a committee of about 9 people. I understand there's a couple more that would like to be involved in this. More than welcome, but we also need to make sure that we're not getting the weeds, putting too many weeds in our pond. But some additional personnel have asked, and we have invited them on board. The first meeting we had gave the highlights of what we're looking for in a new 19th hole, and those have already been submitted to Prodigy. Prodigy's next step is to go ahead and get their cost of rebuilding the 19th hole to go to the insurance company and say, hey, this is what you're going to need, not the amount that you offered. Once we have that amount solidified, from there we'll go with what additional we want in the 19th hole and how we're going to go about paying for it. There's many different options on the board, and nothing has been solid yet, and also there's no guarantee we'll be spending more than what we actually will be getting from. And another step too is, I've talked to a couple of the board members, and quite frankly, we're losing a lot of money because we're not open. And because of the fact that we have a very strong belief that PepsiCo is involved in this, as they were here a month before for a compressor, an egg compressor caught fire. I think that we should be going and suing them personally, all right? And I know there's at least one other board member on this table right now that agrees really strongly on this.
That would be me. I agree with that.
We're losing a lot more income out of the 19 total than I expected. We're coming up with a lot of losses. Also, the trailer out there is an additional cost.
Yeah, I mean, we're now at what, maybe 22,000 on just the trailer?
Just on the trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you figure in
And
lost
that's a lot of
wages.
money we're asking our people to pay for right now, especially if this was negligence on their part, which is what it's looking like right now. With your permission, I would like to move forward with this. I've already got a potential lawyer involved or a potential lawyer to talk to, and I'd like to move forward with this to see what their thoughts are on this and see what our options are.
I would support exploring that as an option. I don't know that we will end up suing or not, but I certainly support exploring it to find out if it's worth it.
Can I get a consensus?
No, I'll make a motion for him to move forward with discussing it with
Any money
legal
attached to your
representation. Well, the actual attorney has done a lot of work for Doe Valley in the past. It's not Darren. It's Harry O'Donnell. So he's not going to charge us. He's just going to.
It's going to be a percentage of anything we get if we win the case.
Correct.
I've also brought an attorney to the table, and I've discussed that with the board, but we didn't decide to go forward with that. So I do think that we need to, I mean, at the time, we didn't know that we were going to get to this point. So I just don't know that we want to hire a specific person
Well,
yet.
we're not hiring anyone. So how about this, Keith? I'll make a motion for you to discuss it with both Jackie's attorney and Harry, the guy that's, and
I just need their information, contact information on your person again, because I never really got.
I've given him Harry's, so.
All right.
Just an exploratory.
Just
Yeah.
exploratory
Just exploratory, see
consultation.
what we have, so I can bring to you in a couple.
Because they very well both may say, you have no case, or, I mean, I have a general idea of what Harry's going to say because I spoke to him about it. So, and one thing he will ask Keith to ask Church Insurance is, did Church settle with PepsiCo, or are they going to file a suit against PepsiCo? In the case, if they were to file a suit against PepsiCo, they would tag us in most cases on the lawsuit.
Okay.
So but Harry will explain that to you.
So, Paul, if I heard you right, you are making a motion to consult an attorney
Correct.
for
Or attorney.
consultation
Or attorneys.
Or attorney, or plural attorneys.
for possible legal action. So this is just for consultation,
Mhm.
like we would do with any other business. We're going to get different quotes, so
Sure.
we'll talk to more than one attorney, and then Keith will bring it back to the board.
Correct.
Does that sound correct?
Yep.
And that Keith would be leading that.
Yep.
All right. And then bring it back to the board before any decisions are made. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second is by Joe. All in favor, Ida said yes.
Yes.
Susan
Uh,
and Jackie. I say aye. All right, sounds good. Now, before we get sidetracked again, we gotta get back to the actual budget.
Mhm.
So, all right. So any other discussion on that?
No, that's it. It's like I said, the slide will be posted as soon as this is approved. It should be this afternoon or tomorrow.
Alrighty. So, can I get a motion to accept the budget as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We had a discussion on the water tower and it was gonna cost an extra 1,000 if we do it. Can we,
We have
Is
that.
it
That comes in
That's
general
twenty
funds.
twenty-four. If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Uh,
got it.
so we got it now? Do we have enough in the budget
I can
now
find
to
the
do it?
money for a
Yeah.
budget now.
Okay.
When I
We
talk
just
to
bill
John, when I
items.
talk to Jonathan and
Bill
get
items.
information from Jonathan, I can find the money.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Okay.
She'll pay that.
All right, so I'm
Free
sorry,
We're gonna make a
motion.
Paul, did you make the motion?
I did.
Joe
Okay.
seconded.
Paul,
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Joe, Ida, are you in favor?
Yes, absolutely. And you all have done
Susan?
a heck of a job on this. This is the
And
first
John.
time we've had an actual budget. Thank you.
So all in favor, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Woo-hoo. I'm very, very pleased with this process and I'm very pleased with this budget. So
Yes.
thank you all sincerely. And thank you, Keith, as well specifically. We really appreciate that.
6 months, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty, so let's move on to the rest of our agenda. So new business, if we've not covered it already. So I'm going to make a motion that we open a new account for the 19th hole insurance settlement and rebuild funds. And do I get a second on that?
Yes.
So, Susan, Ada, and Paul, and Joe, all in favor?
Yes.
All right. And so this is so that we have that separate fund, separate account for those. So I will write that up in the minutes so that we have that as a resolution as we've done with the other accounts. Correct, Keith?
Yes.
Keith, you can do that without me, right?
Yeah, well, we just deposit the money. Yeah, we can deposit the money, just need to sign.
We'll
it.
have to do,
We'll have to do a signature block for all of
so we'll
it,
have
yeah.
to do the signature.
We can, with 2 signatures, we can actually create the account. You can come in afterwards and sign it when you get a chance to.
Just let me know, I'll come
Yeah.
down. So,
All right, next thing I wanted to talk about is special events and marketing. So this is new item. So we have now consulted with a special event coordinator. We've also gotten some information on redoing our barn. And so we're going to be working on clearing that out in the month of November and making some small modifications so that we can use it for event rentals. That will be a project that we're going to hope to have completed by the spring and start opening that up for rentals. In the meantime, we have coordinated with the wedding wire and the knot, which most people have heard of one or the other of those, to help do some promotions for our rental venues that we do have available to help bring in money for Doe Valley and also to be more of a community partner. So, so we're real excited about this. We did make a motion to support a contract on that for advertising for the S&T and current locations, which includes just pretty woods where someone can put a tent. And thankfully, Carrie Sears has agreed to head up this effort and to be our contact on all of this. So we are super excited about that. And she's going to do an amazing job. So the motion that was made was, I've got it written down somewhere.
It's at the bottom of this page.
Thank you. The marketing and support for special events by the Wedding Knot or the Knot and Wedding Wire, $408 a month. It starts immediately. It is cancelable after 12 months. Ida, you had made the initial motion.
Yes.
Joe, second. Jackie, Susan, and then later Paul during our conversation, all in favor of that.
Yes.
So that motion did pass and this vote is now ratified. Alrighty, awesome. Very excited about that. Any questions, further discussion? Great. All right, next up,
One quick, Jackie, when will we discuss specifically the leftover money from 2023?
That would not be until after
January?
January. Yes,
So
January.
January, and I think at that time, we need to look seriously about maybe throwing some of that money toward this effort right here, what we're talking about.
Yeah, that'll
We'll have to
actually be,
compare that with all of our priorities, yes.
yes.
Cross that bridge when we get
That's
to
what I
it.
Yes.
thought. That's what I
That's
did.
what you said,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That
so
won't
we
be
will
decided
talk
until
about that.
January though.
Typically, we put it in capital or savings or a loan, but definitely we can discuss all of that in January. So, alrighty. Next up is we did look at the 2024 operations calendar, and we talked about that. I did pass around the revisions to that so that everybody can see it. I did email it to you all. It's in here somewhere.
It's about last page.
It's the last page.
But I made the changes based upon what everybody said, no other changes. I did put on here for the fireworks that I have the Independence Day celebration on here Saturday before the holiday, June 29th, because that's how it's always been. So for right now, that's where it is. We do have the poll out there so that we can amend this later and change it later if needed to move the fireworks to Labor Day and or do celebrations on both holidays, which I mean, we need to celebrate the 4th of July. It's our independence and military and all that. So whether we do that or not, we need to definitely consider that. So other than that, which we can change later as needed, are there any further discussions on that? And can I get a motion to go ahead? Actually, we already have a motion on
We already have a
that.
motion.
To ratify that acceptance of the calendar. And so that would be,
Next to the last one.
thank you. Motion was made by Ida, I seconded. Joe and Susan in favor, and Paul, you agreed to this after the fact.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, no, you did not. We didn't talk about that. So do you agree to that
I do.
now? Okay. All right, unanimous passage. Awesome, thank you. All righty. Okay, next up, want to talk about actually, before we change gears, I want to make sure we go ahead, since we've been talking about 19th hole, I want to make sure we back up and ratify the vote on the Prodigy. So back on the 16th of October, we talked about the construction company, and we had a few names that were given to us. We tried to get quotes. It just wasn't working out. People weren't following through. And anyhow, Prodigy's the standout. They are doing, this is their specialty, and they do fire and restaurant reconstruction. So the board voted on the 16th, and we're going to ratify that now with the motion by Paul, second by Ida, Jackie, Susan, and Joe in favor of selecting Prodigy Construction as the all-encompassing company to rebuild the 19th hole of the restaurant. So, and Keith, you were going to sign a letter of intent for Doe Valley.
Already sent.
Already sent.
Already
All right,
sent.
great.
Sent last week.
All right, so that vote is now ratified. Great.
Now, as a matter of fact, they said they were going to come in and transfer over the electric for us sometime this week
Wonderful.
to get us back in the pro shop as soon as possible.
Awesome.
And
What
then,
about
And then we can
demo?
get rid of the trailer.
yeah, once we have power back to the pro shop, we can get rid of the trailer.
Move everything back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then demo, do we have a date for demo yet?
Not a solid date for demo, but they said they'd be getting on that. I think they want to wait until they've talked to the insurance company. But I talked to Greg last week. I'll be talking to him again on Wednesday this week to find out exactly where we're at with that.
Okay, great.
Or I'll be making sure that Carrie gets with them and gets me that information.
Carrie. All righty. All right, next up, let's talk about the employee holiday appreciation event on Tuesday, December the 12th. Susan, can you take the lead on this one?
Oh, well, I've put it out there to the residents, let everybody know, and I'm getting people responding that have agreed to bring dishes, and so that's just ongoing at this point.
Have we set a time for that yet? I can't
I
remember.
made it 6:30 because we need to try to have as many residents,
Off work and
yeah,
able to
yes,
attend.
able to actually get there. Yeah.
Do you have anyone to do the cupcakes or make that stuff yet?
Are you volunteering,
We want Jello
Paul?
shots.
Oh, you've never had her cupcakes. They're amazing. Susan makes the best cupcakes on the planet.
So yeah, I might make cupcakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should we be raising money from the residents?
Some of them have offered gift cards and different gifts. I intend to put together a small gift bag for each employee. And so some residents are offering different things. And so, yes, whatever.
Whatever the residents can.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Some of them have businesses and, they're offering, like somebody had Scentsy and different things like that. So, if somebody had
Paul's gonna donate all the
coupons.
insulation.
I'm getting some insulation.
Yeah. Whatever, like
Drywall.
that is appreciated.
Yeah, and so, we had
Thank you,
talked about
Susan.
it, about the board helping to support in some way. We're more than willing to do that, but the thing of it is that if this comes from the heart, from the residents, I mean, what better way to say, how much you care than preparing a meal and sitting down and having a meal together, and so doing things from the heart. So we want to roll with this as individuals. I plan on participating, and I'm sure we all do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So we want to do this as individuals, not just as a board, so we're really excited about this, and I really appreciate Susan bringing the idea forward, and, if the board needs to backstop something, we will. But
Right.
let's
As
take
we
it
go
from the
along,
heart first.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All righty. Next up is a restaurant consultant, and so just want to give everybody an update on that. We did have a restaurant consultant come out and to give us an idea about what their thoughts are around the Lakeside Bar and Grill. I'm determined I'm going to quit calling this place the S&T because the S&T is the
Where's the
build-
Lakeside Bar and Grill?
Right there.
Right here.
Well, this is the S&T Club, right?
Yes, but the rest, stop it,
He's
Paul.
just messing with you.
Stir that pot.
Yeah,
Stir
baby. You do that really good,
Stir.
baby. You got it.
Got any trees around you need to get rid of?
Oh, stop,
Oh, stop.
She's just friendly.
Anyway, he knows I'm cheesing.
I do.
All right, so anyhow, but about the restaurant, Shannon and Jenna and everybody here are just doing a really good job. They work very hard. They work tirelessly and endlessly. We need for the restaurant the outcomes to match their efforts. They're
Absolutely.
working so hard. So anyhow, we figured that we would talk to some people and help get their ideas. One of the things that the gentleman mentioned that he would be really good at is helping us find a cook, a full-time cook, and helping us with just everything that goes into this. So this is a professional consultation. We're hoping to have a proposal from him this week for the board to consider.
Great.
And so hopefully that'll be something that we can engage that we've never done before. So we just really want to, this weekend with the trunk or treat, that's exactly what this place was meant to be.
Yes.
For those who weren't here, you should have seen it. It was fantastic, and it's exactly what it should be. Honestly, I plan on bringing this up later. I hope we do an indoor-outdoor thing going forward on this, because by having some of the stuff going on inside, that place was hopping. And while I'm sure it was probably more busy than anybody really expected, it was great.
Right.
It was great. And as somebody who helped clean up, confetti is officially barred from now on. Okay, so. All right. Next up, departmental utilization and progress reports. Keith, I believe you're introducing some of this stuff, so I'll let you talk
Will
about
not be introduced until the middle of next month. I started this month. I got a 15th to the 16th reporting date. That way there we have it for us when we do our pre-meeting to go over. So I don't have it for you yet. I do have some 2-week preliminaries that I'll share with you guys later on, but no official report until the middle of next month.
Yeah, but we're starting to roll them out, so.
Yes,
Great,
yes.
that's awesome.
This also too is all the committees we have out there need to come and speak to us quarterly.
Well, we welcome them to come anytime.
Well, we
So-
need to have it as if we need to make
Regular?
it needs to be, I need to know what's going on here and here, and what's happening
I'd
at the
love
golf
to see,
course,
for
We need
anybody who
presentations.
does minutes to present them to the board, and then the board could read them and know what's going on, and if
It's
they want to
easier
talk.
if they come talk, and that way you can hear what they're saying and you can ask questions.
And
They're
then
just
more than
saying
welcome.
present the minutes.
Present them,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, well, we can look at that
Make
and
sure
try to
they're
figure
invited,
something out.
What's that?
Just make sure they're invited.
Well, they always are, but yeah.
Try to get it on a rotating basis.
Yeah, try to get on a regular
Yeah.
All the
basis.
time,
Yeah.
just occasionally, but this is the committees like the golf committee and
The lake
the
and.
lake committee and the other committees.
Advisory.
Lake committee does a good job, but
Yeah, well, a lot of our committees do a good job, so we just need to hear about it, because we just sometimes don't hear about them, so.
Speaking of lake committee, I'm just gonna take a moment right now. There is gonna be a boat that's gonna be on the lake, a full-blown bass boat, a V19, that I've authorized for the Meade County High School to come out and practice their bass fishing for their bass fishing intramural team. They know not to do greater than a wake speed. There are some other requirements that we've got out there right now. It's the exact same thing as the carp fishermen that we allow on to do carp fishing. And this is for bass for them to practice. They know it is catch and release. So if you see a bass boat out there, that's what it's out there for. And if you see them going fast, by all means, let me know. I will kick them off the lake in a heartbeat. All right.
So how many boats total?
One
One
boat
boat,
total.
period.
One boat.
One
Only
Just have
one
the
boat.
one team.
And
Okay.
that one boat is written by Jordan Smallwood, okay?
Okay.
Anyone else that's out there is not authorized. He has a specific letter that's been signed by me that he signed. If it's anybody else, they don't belong out there, get them off.
And it's basically
One
during
boat.
this month?
It's gonna be
or-
for this month, next month, and then during the spring.
Okay,
I've given them a blanket from now until, beginning of May, when the school's open and they're actually doing it. Yes, it's only one boat.
one boat.
One boat only, and I'll have a picture of that boat posted
Okay,
with the owner of it, so you can't, this is who it is, all right?
Okay.
well, we want to support our young people, so that's a really cool thing.
And I think they won, they did really, really well this
Yep,
season.
they did really
Yeah.
good last year.
It's great, and we have so many of our residents with children who go to Meade County High School, so it's good to be a good community partner within limits. I mean, we just have to make sure that, we don't overdo things. And that-
One boat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that is
One
what we're doing.
boat.
Hey, just asking, man. Gotta make sure we got our stuff covered.
Mhm.
All right, next up, pool. The pool is closed for the season. I want to thank the maintenance team. I want to thank Keith and everybody involved in getting that prepared and the.
It's a lot easier than we thought it was gonna be.
Safety
Installing
covers
that-
are
installing
easy.
that tarp was a lot easier than we thought it was gonna be. It was time consuming, but a lot easier than we thought it was gonna be.
That's great.
Well, from now on, since they've got the anchors on, it's
Yeah.
gonna take no
Easy. It's gonna
time.
be
Yeah.
No time at all.
That's
No
great.
time at all.
And then we will
Just
plan.
drilling those anchors out.
Pain in the
Start
butt.
plan for reopening once spring comes. So I want to thank everybody involved with that. Also for cleaning the sides of the stainless steel, and getting all the extra
That's
film
Tom,
and stuff
Tom the
on.
diver.
Yeah.
Well, we
Tom the
appreciate
diver
that,
needs the
Tom.
help.
All right, next up, we've talked about 19th hole, where we're at on that. We've talked about the lift stations. We've talked about front office automation. Where are we at on the maintenance building for the
I have a contract that I'm getting ready to sign for the cement work to be done. And I have someone that I talked to this weekend that is an actual steel worker. He says that he can erect the building, and he can hire other people on board to get it. He says pretty much he runs teams out in Seattle where he hires people when he gets there. So I've asked him to actually give me a bid on it. And he's a resident of Del Valley, so he says he's gonna give us a decent bid. He's not gonna try to soak us. So I'm interested to see what it is. I know he floated a number past me this weekend. I want to see if it's actually the number he gives me. But yeah, it's gonna be, right now, it looks like it's right within that extra budget we've proclaimed.
Okay. All righty. We talked about that.
We sold a piece of property. I get a new roof.
Oh, great, okay.
Good, yay.
That probably needs to be voted on though.
Yeah, we do.
We sold a piece of property for $20,000. I'd like that money to go to the roof and the main office.
All right.
Are they gonna pay in full, or are they gonna do?
Payment plan,
payments?
That's paid, and we have a check already. It's paid in full.
good deal.
I'll make a motion that goes toward the roof to the administration building.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Do we know though? Did you have an estimate on that?
On what, the roof? I have 2 estimates already, and I have a third person that's going to give me an estimate, that he says both the others are too high. So I'm willing to see when that estimate actually comes in, where we're at. I think I still need I still think I still that person's square footage, which I haven't been able to find yet. As soon as I do, I'll get it to him.
So the property was about 20,000.
And the property was the last estate's property we had. We sold it for $20,000, yes.
Okay, that should be enough. And then any remainder will go into general fund and we'll figure out.
Yeah, we should have at least $20 left over.
At least $20.
I might give it to the guy for beers.
All
or
right, so
something.
then I believe everybody was in favor of that.
Yep.
Correct? Okay, great, because the
You really wanna
the
hold the
administrative
numbers.
building is a little low.
What's that?
You don't wanna hold them.
If there's any money left over, maybe we can get critter ritters out there too.
Critter rears?
Yeah.
What, and around our building?
Yeah,
There's a fence
Actually,
now.
actually, we went out and we got some things that I've used around my yard for years. It's sonic transmitters.
oh, yeah,
And we've gotten the gophers and the moles and the snakes away. Hopefully we can get the mice away now too, because they're dancing in my walls.
Dolomite works great around
Okay.
your house.
all right, so, next up, we've got, I wanted to ask Keith if he can talk about the dam. We were getting a second quote on the maintenance and studies that are needed for the dam maintenance, correct? And that'll be this week, won't it?
Yeah, I'm waiting on the response from the guy. Once I get that, I'll hand it off to all of you.
I
So
thought
I thought Stantec was gonna be,
we've received a second person who is wanting to give us, it's a different company, wanting to give us another bid, which I'm all for more than one bid, because we weren't able to get people to respond. And this guy actually worked for Stantec, and he helped, I believe, form this other company. And he actually has been proactive and following through, and I'm kind of all for people I don't have to beg for to get.
One thing I like about this
So-
guy is when you call him, he responds.
Yeah, no,
All right.
oh, that's good, as long as he has some kind of relationship with the people in Frankfurt, that's.
He does,
He
yeah.
does.
Like
exactly.
Stantec.
We checked into that, and he does.
I really like
And
Stantec.
my
but
thing
it's
is, if he
just
comes in underneath Stantec, well, then he comes in underneath Stantec, and we have someone that we know actually talks to us and responds to us. Because quite frankly, Stantec, to me, was the only play we had. And I first talked to Stantec and then didn't hear again from them. Oh, great, battery's running low. I didn't hear back from them for 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy was a lot more
responsive.
Johnny on top.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll work out. And I mean, in no disrespect to Stantec, I mean, I really like them, I really like the people, but I mean, we gotta have responsive stuff, so.
Good to go.
It's always good to have more than one quote. All right, Marina, we're still getting information on loans and stuff, so we will update the people on that as we talk about
He'll be here
that.
this week, correct?
Huh,
He'll be here
yes.
this week.
And I saw an email, I thought y'all had set a date, so
Yeah,
check
it's
your
Wednesday.
emails. Okay. that's what I
Wednesday.
thought. Oh, we're done, I think.
No, I shut that off up there because my
Oh, okay.
battery's running dead.
All right,
Oh,
and
running
then we've
Gotcha.
already covered that. I think we've actually got through.
We're done.
All right, so, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, I got some questions.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The first one, this is general stuff. Denham curve. This goes back probably 15, 20 years ago when they were originally, they wanted to use it as a landfill basically for fill. And then we were going to straighten that curve eventually at some point. Now, the question I have here is, I don't see that we have to do that. But at the same time, we
It
need to
looks
start,
awful.
well, we need to start figuring out what we're going to do. Are we going to continue to use it as a landfill to straighten the curve? Or do we need to tell Bubba and everybody else to stop dumping asphalt?
They have stopped dumping. Anyone that comes in here asks me about it, and I've actually got them dumping it over beside the office now to flatten out that one area, that low spot. And as maintenance gets a chance, they come over and they grab a scoop or two, put it in the dump truck, and they're putting it over. I want to clean bed and curve out. All right.
Good.
I want to make it like like eventually, a dream, a little picnic area.
Oh, come on.
We're not straightening that road out. We can't afford.
We
to
can't
pave
afford
all
to
Oh,
do
of
no,
it.
I'm not, no, I'm with you.
So let's clean that out and make it look nice.
Presentable.
Because it's been, the piles of stuff over there.
That's probably something that we should consider voting on and authorizing you to plow forward on that. Because I mean, a lot of people are confused about this, what I'm saying. But I agree with you that that's probably the best.
Can
We
we
don't-
table this?
I've got a
for
low
our next
area,
meeting?
I've got a low area that I would love to put trailers on in the future. And I can't use, that stuff, there's great material for it.
Finding a place for people to dump that stuff. Now, we're not talking about trash, we're talking about.
I understand.
fill.
The,
And it would be it's a great thing for Doe Valley. Okay, I had talked for a long time about having Keith, our general manager, come up with a relationship with a logger to be able to do lots of things. Like for instance, over that is a marketable timber that fell over on Long Needle. That's a huge maple tree, and there's another maple tree that's going to fall down in the next wind. It comes down because it's rotten in the base.
Maple trees have no value,
No,
but go
they're
ahead.
not about
But
it.
I mean, they're marketable. I mean, I don't know that they don't have the same market value as others.
Water maples, which is what we have.
The problem,
Yes, sir.
okay, I'm not a logging expert, okay, but I did it for a couple of years after I retired my first time around. And the first I did was a logger. That first 8 feet of logging,